Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Abigail and today I am testing out these markers. So they're double-ended markers by Leisure Arts. I bought these at Walmart for just over $10 with tax. So I am going to test them out on this just to get, this is just normal cardstock. And then I'm going to color in this line art of a couple of my OCs. I'm just gonna color in whatever colors I want for fun. So I'm gonna get to swatching. Okay, so here is all of the swatches. I have to say, first impressions, I'm actually really impressed. I have never seen in especially cheaper marker sets, markers get this light, and they've actually got a few colors here that are actually really close to skin tones. And so I'm impressed with this range. There is a couple here that are virtually the same color as well as over here. But other than that, these ones do look pretty close as well. But other than that, they have a lot of different colors here. So the ends are, this is the fat end. I don't know if you can see. So it is, you can draw like a skinnier line or turn it to the side and give like a fatter line. And then the other end is a really skinny. And it still though draws about the same thickness as the other one. If you go lighter, you can get a thinner one. Some of them are juicier than others. Like this one is a pretty juicy one. So the coloring like that, it actually lays down really smooth, but I had a few that seemed a little drier, so they didn't lay down as nicely. Like I said, overall impressed. So I am going to switch over to this and begin coloring. Here we are now with the voiceover and the speed paint style. So I picked this color because it was the closest to a skin tone that there was. I was pleasantly surprised that there was one as close to a skin tone as this. It does show up quite a bit more yellow than it did in person, but that just might be my camera. It's so because I know my desk shows up really yellow on camera as well, and yeah. Anyway, so there I was upset because I had forgotten and was put pink on her nose, because that's what I usually do when I'm doing digital or Copic, but these just don't blend the way that Copics do, so I put it on her nose and she just looked like a scarecrow. And that was not what I wanted. So then, so like I said, these characters are OCs of mine, but for the sake of the video, so I could try multiple colors, his skin tone actually isn't this dark at all. He's white, but I wanted to test out the different, there's like a really light, there's like a lightish skin tone, and then one that looked really nice as a darker skin tone. I wanted to try them both out. So I did really like it. It didn't lay down as smooth as the light one, but I think that kind of comes with the territory, a little bit of darker colors. So then I got to the dress and I kind of wanted to try my hand at like a gradient, and it did, but it didn't work. So doing the skin, I was feeling pretty good about myself until I got here, and then I felt like garbage. It was rough going. I was like, oh my gosh, these do not look good like this at all whatsoever. I was kind of trying like feathering, and oh, I can see my hand just go. My hand and wrist were so tired after this, and I was hating myself for printing them so big on the paper, because I don't usually draw this big. So I was like, I was not happy, to say the least. And I couldn't quite get the gradient to look the way I wanted. I'm sure that there is a way to try, like I could have tried a little harder. I definitely didn't try very hard, so do want to put that out there that I didn't try very hard. So and I did kind of stick a little bit to their color schemes just out of habit. Her color scheme was all blues and purples, and so this picture was actually from their like wedding, so I do mix in a little bit of red in the details because that's what his color scheme is, and vice versa. So I thought that was like a cute little idea and stuff, and so here I tried again with the little blending. Yeah, I don't know. It was very textured, I think, so I definitely feel like using them in the right way or to color certain things would actually, that texture would be really cool. For somebody who's used to smooth texture, like smooth Copics, it irritated the shit out of me. But like I said, these markers were incredibly cheap. So it's really hard for me to complain. They come out to, let me do some math here. Yeah, they come out to what, like 16 cents ish a piece kind of thing. I don't know how to do math. Anyway, so they're really ridiculously cheap, and there's so many colors. So they're actually quite fun, and I think that they'd make a great addition to any beginner, especially artist, but I had a fun time using them. I'd call myself an intermediate artist, I'd say. Yeah, I'd have a great time using them. So they very fun. I'd use them again. It's kind of a break from I feel like when I use my Copics, they're expensive, and I feel like everything that I need to make with them needs to be the best. I need to always be improving at it, and if it looks bad, I like whatever, it makes you feel bad. But doing these, I did not expect it to look great, like fantastic, and without that pressure, it was just fun, just getting to color something fun, and it was a good time. So I definitely recommend these, even for intermediate artists, to take a break maybe from the pressures of trying to make your art look the best. So, and there you can see I mix in the red a little bit and finish off the bodice of her dress and the sleeves. These blues were very fun, and I loved the purples, and then the purpley blue, that was my favorite. Purpley blue is like one of my favorite colors, and the fact that they had one, that made me very happy. So like I said, I got these at Walmart. I just was walking in the craft aisle the one day, and I saw these, and they were like, I saw how many there were, and I saw that they were really cheap, and I'm like, oh, I have to try them. So here I am. Long story short, for her hair, the character's hair is white, so here I am using that really light gray, very impressed by, to add a little dimension to her hair. I do go in a little bit with the purple, the lightest purple, and I do regret it a little bit because it wasn't light enough. It ended up looking just really dark. So I added it to a few places anyway, just because I had already started. Now coloring more accessories, and then we are moving on to him. So like I said, his color scheme was all reds and oranges and browns, so I keep rolling with that, and like I said, great time. I had a good time. I definitely think someday, I keep saying someday about things, I will try these with like in tandem with water to see if I can get them to look any better when I use watercolor paper and a little water, because they are water-based markers, and I've seen people try that with like Crayola, so I think that they would be really fun if I could get that to work. And I love this red, how bright it is. I don't usually like red, but it was very bright. And this was one of the more juicy ones, I'd say, which is funny because you can actually see so many of the lines still, but the juicier ones were by far the best to use. Some of them were really dry, like really scratchy. and I didn't enjoy it at all whatsoever. But I think that comes with the territory of they're super cheap. You know, sometimes even with Crayola, sometimes you get a pack and one of them is already dry. And like, it sucks, but it kind of comes with the territory of not having them be super pricey. If every single one was perfect all the time and they were like super juicy, all that whatever, it would cost more money. And that would suck a little bit. And there needs to be accessible art supplies, because I'm a firm believer that art is something that everybody should have a chance to do, and honestly, that everybody should do. It is very relaxing, and you don't even need to be super great at it. Like, I mean, you think about kids, you know, a lot of kids just draw to draw. Like, that's just fun. That's just what they do. Yeah, you have fun with it. I think that more people need to do that. You know, when I was a kid, I didn't care about how good I was. I just had a fun time drawing little characters and little outfits and just anything and everything. Here I colored his lips and it just looked like lipstick, and I regretted it so much, because I always color like, I like putting fuller lips on all my characters, and I'm like, oh no, it didn't look how I wanted it to. But anyway, you know, when you're kids, you enjoy art in just a different way, and I truly believe that everybody needs to be able to experience that. And here I decided to try something a bit different with his pants. I tried doing a little bit more of like a cell shading, where I went in first with my darker color and blocked out places that I wanted darker, and then I went in with the lighter brown and colored in the rest. And that worked way better, and I actually was kicking myself in the butt for not doing this the entire time. What the heck? So I definitely think if I use these again in a video or just in myself, I will be using that technique a little more so. And the same with how I kind of color his, the top of his boots and his sash, where I kind of, outline a little bit and then layer a color over top of it, because it does blend a little bit, and that ended up having a pretty cool effect. So I think those ways would be the ways I would use it, and that's how I recommend everybody to use them. And I think you could really get some great pieces out of these. And I used the same technique on the boots, and until I have anything else to say, I'm going to be a little quiet for a hot second. And so if you don't remember me saying, he has the little bits of purple because this was like a little wedding scene, and I thought it'd be fun if traditionally they each, wore things from the other person or like little nods to them in their outfits. So his little detailing and sash are blue, and her little bow and ribbons are red. And that was fun. So I do go in and I do a bit of shading over top, and that did start making things feel more complete, especially over on her end with the dress, because that bottom part of the dress was looking a little rough. But I think overall it turned out really fun. I love these outfits a lot, like the little sleeves and stuff. I like layers, so I thought this dress was a fun time. And I didn't really exactly know where I wanted to put the shadows because I didn't really have a light source, which, mistake on my part, rookie mistake, is I didn't really think about it. I knew I wasn't doing the original light source from the original art because that was a backlit sunset, and there's just no way that I could, with my skill set, I could accomplish that in any physical medium, but I definitely could not. It'd be impossible with these markers for me. So, and I used that little orange, and I used also sometimes the same color just overlapping to add some shading, and it turned out great. I go in with a Jelly Roll gel pen, which you can actually find at Walmart as well. It was kind of soaking, and I was using a little one, and I tried a bigger one then, and then I eventually switched to a Posca, which my Posca was acting up. It didn't feel very, wasn't very opaque. It's quite old now, so I might actually need to pick up a new one. But yeah, I definitely think if I had waited too, that the white would show up a little better. I put it on instantaneously, like, oh, there's my phone, dang. I put it on pretty much right after it was still wet, so it was just soaking in. So I feel like the piece would have looked better if I could have gotten the white details to look good, but anyway, you live and you learn. But I add some fun details with the white, and then this is almost done, and my final thoughts coming up. Okay, so final thoughts with all of these is, well, okay, so at first I thought it was starting off on a really, really terrible foot. I thought it was gonna look terrible. I think overall, like when you look at the piece as a whole, it actually looks not half bad. I definitely will be using these again, and I think they're, you know, very beginner friendly. I think with a little practice, they could actually be pretty decent. You definitely would have to use, you know, they don't blend the best, but this type of shading here, kind of the blocky cell shading, would be perfect with these. The skin tone, well, it wasn't really a skin tone. It's like this. So it looks a little yellowy, but it colored a bit orangey. It doesn't, excuse me, it doesn't look half bad. When you colored in the rest of the piece, when I first started, I'm like, that shit's orange. But with the rest of it colored, it's actually not terrible. My paper did buckle a bit. I don't know if you can see that, but this isn't a very heavy cardstock. I think it was only like 80 pounds, maybe 60. I don't know. Just kind of a basic cardstock. I definitely think maybe if you use a watercolor paper or a mixed media paper, it would hold up a little better, because some places were starting to get kind of eaten by the markers and stuff. And I struggled a bit in some places where I was trying to, the hair, I was trying to use this brown color, and this end was just really hard, and it didn't, you know, the other ones were kind of squishy a little bit, where if you would press them down, they would squish a bit. That one did not. It was hard as a rock, and it actually kind of left like little scratches. But overall, and the white would definitely show up a little better if I didn't put it on immediately after, because it kind of soaked in a little bit because everything was still a little wet. So if you'd wait a bit, and then the white would show up a lot better. I also hate that there's no stopper on these. I didn't realize how used to that I had gotten until I was working with these, and they were rolling all over the place. So besides those, I would actually give them a shot again, and I would say they're really great value for considering they're like cents. Like, they're not expensive. 60 of them for 10-ish bucks. That's crazy ridiculous, and this is crazy good for that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, please like, comment, share. All my supplies and links to everything are down in the description. I would love to hear from you about what you thought, so I'd love a comment. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.